ഞാൻ പറയായിരുന്നേ, സംഭവിക്കുന്ന എല്ലാം നല്ലതിനാണ്. കാരണം എന്താ അറിയോ, സാക്ഷാൽ AR റഹ്മാനെ പരിചയപ്പെടാനും അടുത്തറിയാനും മേജറായിട്ടൊരു വർക്കിൽ കൊളാബറേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ സാധിച്ചത് ഒരു പാട്ടുകാരി എന്ന നിലയിൽ മാത്രമല്ല, ഒരു ആർക്കിടെക്റ്റ് എന്ന വ്യക്തിയുടെ കപ്പാസിറ്റിയിൽ കൂടിയായിരുന്നു അല്ലേ? ആ കഥ എന്താണ്?
It's pretty amazing how I feel I've read this particular Paulo Coelho book called The Alchemist, and
Yes.
it's like, you know, how when it's like the whole universe conspires when you really like truly wish for something.
True.
And with all your heart.
True.
Music is one thing, architecture is one thing, and my dream project or or a wish list project or another, it was designing a music school, and that's what I had worked on for my final year thesis. Literally, I'm like, if I was going to sit and design something for, you know, a whole semester, I thought might as well make it something that I would dream of, you know, because this is something I've dreamed of.
Okay.
If I was a music school student, what all would I want there? Or, you know, how else could a music school be different from, you know, what is already there? So I've done a lot of case studies, a lot of extensive research.
Okay.
In the music schools and existing music schools, like a system, or like what is there? How you know, how could it be made better, or how else could it be designed so that there's a sense of community involved? Correct things. Like it's like if somebody told me that I would get the opportunity to design a music school for you know, AR Rahman sir,
Correct.
I would have been like don't mess with me. Or I would have been like, that's not something because I mean, as a musician, as an artist, as a human being, he's been and still is like one of my biggest inspirations and role models. It's like so incredibly serendipitous. Like it's like so many things. It's like just the universe at play, I would think. So in fact, this is someone who knew about my thesis project, who is based in California. His name is Abe Thomas. And he knew that at the time Rahman sir was looking for, you know, at collaborating with architects. Or like he was on the lookout for an architect or designer to, you know, design the music school. And I'd also done a case study on KM at the time, because I was looking at, you know, whatever existing music schools were there. College padikan there. Like I designed for my thesis project and all that. So it was so amazing to, you know, meet Rahman sir in the capacity of an architect, and then actually, you know, talk about design, or, you know, what could a music school like, or like, and also to understand his vision of, you know, what he was trying to do.
Were you this cool then, in front of him meeting and just talking about like his dream?
I was definitely, I mean, I couldn't believe it before it was happening, and even while it was happening, I don't think it was, you know, how people talk about out of body experiences.
Yeah.
I was like in a trance, I think. I think the sense of calm was probably contributed by or courtesy of this out of body experience. Like, you know, I still don't know how it was so surreal, the whole thing. And you know, to even like discuss like design, or, you know, talk about this, and it's like first of all, like just designing a music school itself is like a dream project for me, and then like getting to do this in collaboration with a human being who I love and respect so much, and who has inspired me so much in my life. That's like a whole, I don't even know how to, it's like beyond my wildest dreams. And I genuinely feel that Rahman sir's pursuit is so genuine and so full of good intention, like making quality music education available for aspiring musicians and music students in India, and other under one roof, to be able to, you know, learn whether it's music technology, or Western classical music, or, you know, Hindustani music, and like so many different things. And I feel like it's amazing that, and his initiative with Sunshine Orchestra, all of these things. So I feel like it I mean, I don't even know how. I feel like more than an architect, I think as an artist, I was really. I mean, I don't think I can say that. I think it's hard to distinguish. Okay, in my capacity as an architect, I think this was something that I'm really. It was a very, very special experience for me to even like get to brainstorm with Rahman sir and then do this.
What did he say once it was all done? What was his reaction?
It was, so it's not like okay, start point, everything is over, end point. It was a 2-year project, right?
Okay,
So it's like
okay.
through the course of the 2 years,
Okay.
we had like so many interactions. So like there were lots of challenges. So how do we, figure this out? Or I feel like that is something that was really really special because it's like talking about ideas or talking about, uh, and I feel like he has constantly inspired me, and it has been very. I mean, there have been moments where I was so awestruck. Like I would suddenly wake up one day with like some email where Rahman sir has sent me some technological advancement in facade treatment, and I'd be
Okay.
like, how does he even have the time or the bandwidth or the space to even? And it was like I still remember this because it was some kind of technology that was inspired by plants,
Mhm.
and it had like different coefficients of thermal expansion on each side. So when it
Okay.
gets hot, it automatically moves up because this side the thermal expansion coefficient is different. So very simple tech.
Okay.
But then the idea, just like ഈ പ്ലാന്റ്സ് ഒക്കെ ഇങ്ങനെ ഫ്ലവേഴ്സ് ഒക്കെ ഇങ്ങനെ സണ്ണിന്റെ
മനസ്സിലായി.
ലൈറ്റ് കൊണ്ട് മാറില്ലേ അതുപോലെ ഇറ്റ്സ് ലൈക്ക് ഫോട്ടോ റിസെപ്റ്റീവ് ബട്ട്
Yeah.
ഇറ്റ്സ് ആക്ച്വലി sensitive to heat rather than
Hmm.
light. But so through the course of the day, so when it gets colder, it automatically shuts or whichever way,
Okay.
either like this or like whatever.
Okay.
But the fact that he's constantly at the boundaries of, I mean, he's always pushing his boundaries and like always curious and like learning new things or discovering new things and like always excited to share ideas and like exchange ideas and be in that mode. I'm like, you know how people say they're afraid to meet their idols, and this I feel like meeting someone who was a role model and an idol. It's like he was more than anything I could have imagined, and continues to be, which is so cool and so amazing. And after, so we basically I had the opportunity to design KM College of Music and Tech, and we did that across 2 years. And the project was completed in August 2013. And I think I also had the opportunity to rework and redesign the live ensemble suite in Rahman's studio. So that again was very exciting because there were acoustically we did a lot of revamping, which was super duper exciting. It was very technically it was a lot of problem solving that I found very exciting, and then also like the aesthetic of the space. How do we do
Okay.
it? So Rahman sir, the personal studio, it's like literally like a temple or like the sanctity of the space for I don't know, like, or what the space means to me. It's like profound. So the opportunity to
To be there.
for me, my capacity to I felt like this was my opportunity to make an offering or like
Wow.
to add value in in even the smallest way possible.
Got it.
I felt so genuinely grateful that I had the opportunity to do that. And then we've also in the capacity of a consultant, I've also like or consultant എന്ന് പറയുന്നതിനെക്കാട്ടിലും ഒരു brainstormer എന്ന് വേണമെങ്കിൽ പറയാം. Like there are a couple of other design projects on which I've had the opportunity to
Wow.
at least contribute like design oriented things, which has been pretty amazing.
Man, I can listen hours you talking about architecture.
Yeah, I feel like we've been talking more about architecture than music. No, this is so strange.
No,
But
this is
yeah,
so
but
soothing and it's quite informative for us, for sure. Like I'm just listening and just like, oh, okay, this is also there. I'm going to make a lot of
but
notes.
also the thing is, yeah, to answer again, I feel like I have to close these threads. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇന്ന് രാത്രി എനിക്ക് ഉറക്കം വരില്ല. അയ്യോ അത് നമ്മൾ ആൻസർ ചെയ്തില്ലല്ലോ അങ്ങനെ ഉണ്ടാവും. So going back to your thread, so Rahman sir personal design studio ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞൊരു, I think after some 3 months or 6 months later, when I met him, he told me at 2 different occasions he told me he loves the vibe of the space.
Wow.
And I feel like that is, so it's oftentimes it's immediately നമുക്ക് പുതിയതായിട്ട് എന്തെങ്കിലും കിട്ടുമ്പോൾ അതിന്റെ അടുത്തുള്ള ഒരു കൗതുകം is always there. It's like something is novel, right? Like
True.
anything new,
Yeah.
we'll be fascinated with it.
Yeah.
So my train of thought was, when something stops being new, if when you still find it
Relevant.
if you can still if you can still connect with it, or when you find value in it, I think it's even more special
True.
than like when something is new, when you like it or you're fascinated by it, it feels like the obvious thing. Like, yeah, I mean, if it is not, then it would be surprising. But after something stops being new, if you still like something, I feel like it's even more of a compliment, or
Wow.
like, or it meant so much to me that a considerable amount of time had passed, and still, but it's so amazing. I mean, of him as a person, I feel like the ഓർമ്മ വെച്ചിട്ട് like at different occasions കുറെ നാൾ കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടും ആ സ്പേസ് ഒത്തിരി ഇഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടു എന്നൊക്കെ റഹ്മാൻ സർ ഇങ്ങനെ അപ്രീഷിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഐ ഫീൽ ഇറ്റ്സ് so very kind and so really 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 awesome of him.
So you know what, like കുറച്ച് കാലം കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട്, സോ വിൽ ഗെറ്റ് ടു മ്യൂസിക് പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് ഇറ്റ്. സോ കുറച്ച് കാലം കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് കടൽ എന്ന സിനിമ ഇറങ്ങുന്നു. ഓക്കെ, അതിനോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ നെഞ്ചുക്കുള്ളെ എന്നൊരു പാട്ടും ഇറങ്ങുന്നു. ഓക്കെ, ലോകം നേരത്തെ ശക്തിശ്രീ ഗോപാലിനെ കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്, എന്നാൽ ഈ ഒരു ടാലൻറ്റഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ആർട്ടിസ്റ്റിൻ്റെ ശബ്ദം ഒന്നുകൂടി കേൾക്കാൻ ഇടയാവുന്നുണ്ടായത്. ഐ വോണ്ട് ടു നോ ഈ പാട്ടിൻ്റെ കഥ എന്താണ്? Isn't it trivia which you can share about it? And also, how much did life change exactly after that?
So I was there in the studio that day, and I didn't know we are about to record the song. I was there for, the construction was still happening, and I was there for official purposes. And that day, I didn't know that. I mean, of course, there is music happening all the time, or like so. Throughout the day, there are so many sessions that are happening. I was supposed to have a meeting with Rahman sir anyway that day, and sir, I'm wondering how this conversation started, because I also know Rahman sir was like, "Oh, you sing Indian music, right?" And I said, "Yes, I do sing Indian music." And then it's so crazy how I would always have demo CDs on me.
Correct.
Because I would be like,
True.
what if this is the moment I get to, So, and all my demo CDs had my original music, like music that I had been recording and writing. I'd been making independent music through my college years, and I would always burn these CDs, make the inlays and all of that. I've dropped off. I don't know how many CDs I dropped off at Rahman sir's studio, and I had also been singing backing vocals for Rahman sir from 2008. But when I met Rahman sir as an architect, that this had nothing to do. It was like I met him in a completely different capacity altogether.
Correct.
I had mentioned to sir that I had been singing backing vocals for him, and that because I felt I had to let him know, although I was like meeting him in a completely different capacity. So he knew that I'm singing, and I've been singing for him. And I also mentioned that I write my own music and all that. And then, so I had the opportunity to actually hand over my demo CD to Rahman sir, and he said, "Okay, let me listen to this and come back." And then he actually heard it, and a few minutes later he came back, and so this was like the moment of truth, right? I actually this is the moment I've been waiting for, and I always carried these demo CDs because I was like, I don't know, what if this is the day you get to actually hand over your CD.
True.
Like,
you never know when luck will come on you.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, and I felt like how they say great timing is when or like when preparation meets luck or something like that. It was like all of those things. And I remember Rahman sir, so till then my heart was like, okay, this is the moment of truth. He's listening, like Rahman sir is listening to the songs, like, and these are all originals. I don't know, it's just my artistic expression and my collaboration with friends. And by then I hadn't released any of those, or they were just up on Reverb Nation and things like that. Then Rahman sir came out and he said, "Man, you sound amazing." And I was like, okay, God, take me now. I don't want to know anything else that happens after this. This is enough. Like, it was like, because എൻ്റെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ റഹ്മാൻ സർ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒന്ന് മീറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് I just wanted to genuinely, like, if someday I could have the opportunity to meet him and just thank him for all the music that he's given us, that itself would have, that would have been amazing. And if I got the opportunity to just sing for him, I thought that would have been amazing. Everything else was like bonus. Like, it was like bonus thola പറയാൻ പറ്റത്തില്ല. It was more than of course, as a musician, as a singer, I'm like, okay, maybe someday if I get the opportunity to I really really wanted or wished that I would if only I could have the opportunity to sing in his music, or be a part of it. It would be so amazing. And of course, through the years I had the opportunity to sing backing vocals and all of those things. It's like this. It's like it's so it was so super serendipitous. And then we were like, okay, the session is gone. Then Rahman sir was saying, this is a song. It's a folk song, but it's super, so full of love. And he was so nice and so amazing because he prepared me. We'll just give it a shot. We'll see how it happens. Like
no pressure, kind of.
He kind of expectations. We'll see how it comes out. We don't know if it's the final or not, but we'll just give it a shot. We'll see how it comes. You'll do it, Almarika. I was like,
why not?
I was like, yes, this is why not, Nala? Yes, like it was like almost like yes, please. Like this would be amazing. And then when we went inside the studio, Maniratnam sir was sitting there, and then there was a book of poems that the lyric was drawn from. And Rahman sir played the composition, and I remember listening to the composition in Rahman sir's voice. And then sir asked me to sing it back to him, and then he kept like the key, like to fix the key of the song. And then we recorded the song that day, and like all of this, I remember it happened yesterday. And of course, at the time of recording it, my brain is not thinking, will this come out? Will this not come out? Will it release? Will it become a big song? Everything else is like over and above, beyond the scope of imagination. For me, it just meant the world to me that I was, even able to sing in Rahman sir's music. Like that was.
At this moment, can we please request you to sing a few lines from that song?
Absolutely. Nenjukulle முடிஞ்சிருக்க தீசையில் என் பொழப்பு விடிஞ்சிருக்கும் வெள்ளப்பார்வை வீசி விட்டீர் முன்னாடி இந்த தாங்காத மனசு தண்ணி பட்ட கண்ணாடி வண்ணங்கண்ணி யாரும் வலதுகை யாரும் அனபுலி எல்லாடுக்கும் அதிகாரம் நீர் போன பின்னும் நிழல் மட்டும் போகலையே நெஞ்சு குழியில் நிழல் வந்து விழுந்திருச்சே அப்போ நிமிந்தவதா அப்புறமா குனியலையே கொடக்கம்பி போல மனம் குத்தி நிக்குதே நெஞ்சுக்குள்ள முடிஞ்சிருக்க எங்கே தீசையில் என் பொழப்பு விடிஞ்சிருக்கும். Thank you so much.
This is surreal for us. I'm telling you.
Thank you so much.
You know what? There was an interview where you have said that playback singing is as good as acting. Okay, that's when you get to you've been told about a story, ഒരു പ്ലോട്ട് ഉണ്ട്, ഒരു കഥയുണ്ട്, അത് ഫോളോ ചെയ്യേണ്ട ഒരു പാറ്റേൺ ഉണ്ട് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇറ്റ് വാസ് ഓൾസോ എ ടൈം വെൻ യു സെഡ് ദാറ്റ് യു ഹാവ് ഡിസ്കവേർഡ് എ വെരി ഡിഫറെൻറ്റ് സൈഡ് ഓഫ് യു വൈൽ ഡൂയിങ് പ്ലേ ബാക്ക് സിംഗിങ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്. മൈ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ടു യൂസ്, യൂഷ്വലി ആക്ടേഴ്സ് പറയുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യമുണ്ട്, ദേ സേ ദാറ്റ് ഒരു ഫിലിമിൽ അഭിനയിക്കുകയോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു പെർട്ടിക്കുലർ, എസ്പെഷ്യലി ഇഫ് ഇറ്റ്സ് എ വെരി വാട്ട് ഷുഡ് ഐ സേ ഒരു ടഫ് ആയിട്ടുള്ളൊരു സീക്വൻസ് ആണെന്ന് വിചാരിച്ചോളൂ, ഓർ ഇഫ് ഇറ്റ്സ് ലൈക്ക് എൻ വെരി ഇൻറ്റൻസ് ഫിലിം, ഈവൻ വൺസ് യു ആർ ഡൺ വിത്ത് ഇറ്റ് യു ഹാവ് എ ബാഗേജ്, ഒരു എന്താ പറയുക, നമുക്കൊരു ബുദ്ധിമുട്ട് പലപ്പോഴും വരാറുണ്ട്, യു ആർ സ്റ്റിൽ ഇൻ ദ ക്യാരക്ടർ എന്ന് പലപ്പോഴും പറയാറുണ്ട്. ഡസ് ദാറ്റ് ഹാപ്പൻ വിത്ത് പ്ലേ ബാക്ക് സിംഗേഴ്സ്? അറ്റ്ലീസ്റ്റ് വിത്ത് യു, ഹാസ് ദാറ്റ് ഹാപ്പൻഡ്?
And I think it's also cool because artists also, from what I know, or at least me, also spend a lot of time thinking about these things, or not consciously thinking, at least like I feel like it is a huge part of our own processes of creating whatever we make, or whether it is a visual storytelling or storytelling through song or whatever it is. So yes, I think playback is a lot like acting because the script is already there.
Correct.
The setting is already there, and so the melody is already in place, the lyrics are in place, and then it's about how you come. It's like or actor na story and the dialogues are already there, but they are coming and they're playing that role, right? What they are bringing is how they emote and how they express with their body language, with the delivery, and with mere paas maa hai nalla oru line. There are so many ways in which you can say it, but it's like it's about how it is expressed at the end of the day. So adevole the melody is already composed and the production of the context of the song is there, and then the lyrics are also there. But I feel as playback singers, we are like, how can we express this emotion
Correct.
with these words and in this melody to the best of our capacity, or like not the best of our capacity allade, how can we express this, uh, or how do we express this? That is the
Correct. But do you
that
get
is the,
carried
that is
away
the
by
question.
emotions when you're going knee deep into it? Do you get carried away?
Definitely, and I feel like it's also to not get too carried away, because there is a certain craft.
Hmm.
And if you let emotions totally carry you away, I feel like, at least in my personal experience, I feel like there is a head and the heart component, right?
Correct.
So I feel like if the heart takes over, the head is really not there. But I think the more time you spend with the craft, you don't need to think of some things, they become autopilot. Then you can let your heart carry you away even more. I feel like, or if you look at jazz musicians who have literally mastered their craft so much, they don't have to, I don't see them, there is no CPU utility in processing the craft. They are like in an ultimate state of flow, an ultimate state of play, where they have literally, they can let their heart completely take over and not have to process, or not have to, there is some processing, but they're not calculating. So I feel the more time I spend with the craft, like I feel like it happens more and more, where I don't have to, where I feel like I can let myself be carried away more by emotions and not worry if the craftsmanship will fall back. Earlier, that was the thing. I used to feel like, oh, if I let myself get too carried away, that I might lose the finesse in doing what I want to do. But I feel like with more time in exploring my craft and being able to uh, be more one with it, I'm able to allow myself to be more, let the emotions actually take me away, or like go on that and not really worry about, or not have to calculate, or like the and this is also my quest now, right? Like, I mean, the lesser, if the calculations can be minimum to none, then it's pure expression, or like just pure emotion, and
Correct.
then it's like it's all heart, and then no head, and that would
My
be
God.
that is the ideal place to be.
That's beautiful.
And then the second part of your question was, do things linger on or leave behind? That's definitely the case. There was this one song that I think it was also the day I was singing it, and like there were so many things happening, and I was going through whatever I was going through. And അത് ഞാൻ സ്റ്റുഡിയോ പോകുന്നതിന് മുമ്പ് എൻ്റെ ഫ്രണ്ട് എനിക്ക് പാട്ട് അയച്ചായിരുന്നു. ഞാനത് കേട്ട് 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 I was not able to get out of the song, and then I ended up crying, and I don't know why the song and like so many things that were happening and everything kind of brought it out of me. And even when we were in the studio, I feel like I was marinating in those emotions, and I was not able to shake it off. And I also let myself be there, because sometimes it's like we open these doors in our mind, and then നമ്മൾ പറയത്തില്ലേ, ഇനി ഭൂതം പുറത്തിറങ്ങി അകത്തിടാൻ
I know.
പറ്റാതെ
It's a deluge of emotions, right?
Yeah, so when sometimes some doors are unlocked, I feel like it's a flood of emotions, or like maybe so many things are now there because maybe the composition or lyric or like the context or something pulled that out of us. And then I also let myself, sometimes session like, do you want to take a break? And I was like, I said no, and I'm okay to just be in this. And then after the whole song, it was still like my friends were like joking around, or
You're still in that mood.
in like tamashe, but I was not able to shake it off. I was still in that for some time.
my God.
So I think that was similar to what you were saying about
Got it.
sometimes actors still end up living in. But I feel like maybe it's a lot more short-lived, because actors sometimes ഒത്തിരി നാള് അതേ ക്യാരക്ടറിന്റെ മൈൻഡ് സെറ്റിൽ ഇരുന്ന് they are like constantly
Correct,
traveling in the shoes of the character for maybe 30 days or
Okay.
however long.
Okay.
But here we are inside the studio for those many hours, putting
Okay.
at least for me, I'm like, I put myself in the shoes of
Got it.
okay, this character or the storyteller for that time, and then I think there is definitely a spillover before and after maybe.
സ്വപ്നങ്ങളിൽ വിശ്വാസമുള്ള ഒരാളാണ് ശക്തി എന്നറിയാം. ഞാൻ കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട് 2 പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട സ്വപ്നങ്ങൾ ജീവിതത്തിൽ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു എന്ന്. ഒരു 15 വർഷത്തോളം നേർച്ചർ ചെയ്ത സ്വപ്നം. അതിൽ ഒന്ന് ന്യൂയോർക്ക് സിറ്റിയിൽ പോയി താമസിക്കണമെന്നും, രണ്ടാമത് ബെർക്ക്ലി കോളേജ് ഓഫ് മ്യൂസിക്കിൽ പഠിക്കണമെന്നും, സ്വന്തം കഴിവ് കൊണ്ടും പ്രയത്നം കൊണ്ടും ഈ 2 കാര്യങ്ങൾ ശക്തിയുടെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ സംഭവിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. വാട്ട് യു ഹാവ് ടു സേ ഫോർ ദാറ്റ്?
So, I mean, thing number one, I'm a huge believer of chasing dreams. I feel like, I mean, it makes sense. Sometimes, like, I mean, so many people who have, if you look at logic and reason, some things may not make sense, but it's almost like if everything else doesn't make sense without following those things, that's when you know. It's does that thing itself make sense? We may not know. But does everything else? No, if everything else does not make sense, if you don't go after the thing, then you really know you need to go after the thing. Lots of times when you go chase after, I mean, especially in music, like uttiri parents inde concern aanu, like, I mean, how will you sustain yourself? How will you make a living? But we don't ask these questions to people who are professional artists or who are, living the life of artists who we know, or like, but this concern is there. And I feel like we have to constantly train ourselves, and myself included. I'm always constantly trying to train myself to not be in that fear mindset. But at the same time, if nothing else makes sense, if you don't go after the thing, then you know, right? You know that that's what keeps your fire burning, and then you really need to just go after it, even if it doesn't make sense. At least you would know that you tried. At least you would know that you gave it a shot. And sometimes when we go after, I mean, when we are in the pursuit of the things that make sense to us, you end up discovering so many other things in the process. You end up meeting people in the process. You end up growing in so many ways that you may not have even imagined.
Okay.
In the process. But it's almost like it takes you to unlock that door and go down that adventure, and have that trust or faith in the thing itself, and then it somehow like it unlocks so many other things. And in the process, I feel like you also meet fellow travelers who are also in similar quests, and you get to learn so much from them. You meet collaborators, friendships that you may not have ever discovered anywhere else. There was like one I don't know why, but every time I had visited New York, I really felt if I could live here, it would be so freaking awesome, because that city has an energy of,
Okay.
It's unparalleled. It's like its own little planet. And I didn't really know under what circumstances this would happen, or I didn't really know how this would be, but I've always wished, at some point in my life, it would be so awesome to go live there, to meet people, to collaborate with people, to, make music, all of these, to perform in New York, all of these things. Of course, going to music school has been a long time dream. Like
I know.
high school, I've wanted to do that. And the idea was to check myself into a place. Berkeley ഇവിടെ നമ്മൾ IIT എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുന്ന പോലെ അവിടെ നമ്മളകത്ത് കയറ്റുമോ അറിഞ്ഞൂടാ, അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു ഇതിലാണ് ഞാൻ ബെർക്ക്ലി ഒക്കെ കണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. ഐ തോട്ട് ഓക്കെ, ബെർക്ക്ലി ആൻഡ് ഓൾ ഇസ് നോട്ട് പോസിബിൾ, ലെറ്റ്സ് ബി റിയൽ. അങ്ങനെയാണ് ഐ വാസ് ലൈക്ക്, ഐ തോട്ട് ഓക്കെ, ഐ കൻ മേബി ഇഫ് ഐ കൻ ഗോ ടു എനി മ്യൂസിക് സ്കൂൾ ദാറ്റ് ബ്രിങ്സ് ടുഗദർ പീപ്പിൾ ഹു ആർ really passionate about making. It's about being in a space where everyone is, has that maker energy, that everyone is excited about making things, and people are already in a mindset to collaborate and make things together. And that exchange of ideas is there. I wanted to be in a place like that. New York, as a city, it feels like everybody is doing this only at some level. The medium might be different, but it all feels like the default setting of most people over there is this energy. And somehow, it's like these things kind of aligned. And Berkeley also started a campus in New York called Berkeley NYC Power Station. A really intensive kind of course. So it's kind of they aligned. And around the pandemic, it also kind of felt like we were all working remotely. It didn't matter. നമ്മളിപ്പോ ചെന്നൈയിലാണെങ്കിലും മുഗാണ്ടാണെങ്കിലും എവിടെയാണെങ്കിലും I felt like we were all, just connected through tech, and
Correct.
It was okay. So it also gave me, I feel like maybe the confidence to pack my bags and leave. And I was like, okay, it's now or never. And I just took the plunge. So again, I feel like it was not about studying the course or the curriculum. It was more about, or like my biggest takeaway was the people I met, the collaborators whom I collaborated with, learning from other people, and also like the friends I found, or like the kind of tribe I have found, the human connection. If like, again, like in the course of artistic pursuit, I think this is probably the biggest blessing, because we can work hard, we can plan for things, we can work towards things, but I don't think we can ever plan or work hard for genuine human connection to happen. അത് നമ്മൾ എത്ര അധ്വാനിച്ചാലും എന്തൊക്കെ ചെയ്താലും it's a blessing, right? At the end of the day, when you find genuine human connection,
Correct.
it's a gift. And I feel the more we try to if we can put ourselves in places where it's almost like it's inevitable, or like, you're facilitating more of it, I think that's what we can do as artists, people. And I somehow feel, especially with the arts, like people who are aligned somehow find their way to each other. It's a weird law of attraction kind of a thing, I think. Because ഇവിടുത്തെ ഇൻഡിപെൻഡന്റ് മ്യൂസിക് സീനിലാണെങ്കിലും എവിടെ ന്യൂയോർക്കിലാണെങ്കിലും എവിടെയാണെങ്കിലും ഐ ഫീൽ സംഹൗ പീപ്പിൾ ഓഫ് സിമിലർ സ്പീസീസ് എന്ന് പറയത്തില്ലേ,
I know.
കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് സംഹൗ
I know.
ഫൈൻഡ് other and kind of align, and then beautiful things kind of end up happening as a result of it. And I'm
True.
so grateful for this opportunity. ഈ 2 കൊല്ലം ഇതൊരു it was a pursuit of things that I've always dreamed of making, and ഒരു bubble I feel like I was able to be in, and like just keep making like week after week, like just writing songs with friends and like producing these songs, making that and all of that.
Wow.
So yeah, definitely supremely grateful for that experience, and for all the friends and amazing humans, and the teachers who are also a huge blessing who I got to meet.
I really wish you a life ahead which is as rocking as your music. And thank you so much for being on the show. It's a privilege to have you, I'm telling you. And you have no idea how much it means to us. But before you leave, we have a request. ഒരു കുട്ടി പാട്ട് കൂടി ആയല്ലോ.
അഗനഗ അഗനഗ മുഗനഗയേയോ മുഗനഗ മുഗനഗ മുരുനഗയേയോ മുരുനഗ മുരുനഗ തരുനഗയേഹോ തരുനഗ തരുനഗ വരുനനയേ யாரது யாரது புன்னகை கோர்ப்பது யாவிலும் யாவிலும் என் மனம் சேர்ப்பது. Hi, this is Shaktisree Gopalan. You're listening to me on Radio City Original, made in Kerala, live with Sanish Bashkarian.